Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on the show. Cooper Pratt has made his arrival in the big leagues. We got to talk about that. The Brewers win over the Cleveland Guardians as well. Some stuff to look at there. Also, Brandon Woodruff, perhaps coming back fairly soon. An update on him as well. But the big news, obviously, Cooper Pratt's arrival in the major leagues. What we had all known had been coming since Sunday finally ended up happening here. The Brewers make the transaction official. And as we expected, Luis Rengifo is the odd man out. He gets designated for assignment. That trade deadline or beginning of a trade window there that they were looking for. I mean, nothing really ended up coming to fruition with that. So it's a designated for assignment for Luis Rengifo, who has been terrible. And Cooper Pratt comes in, and his debut. Look, not everyone can have a Sal Frelick level MLB debut where you go 4 for 4, rob a home run, and have multiple spectacular defensive plays. Okay, can't fault a guy for that. So Cooper Pratt goes hitless in his debut. He also does make a throwing error as well. So not the greatest, but hey, look, it's just game one. Long career ahead of him. The Brewers have signed Cooper Pratt to an 8-year deal. As we all know, with Major League Baseball, with a 162-game season, you can't just base everything off of one game for these guys. So Cooper Pratt's going to have better days to come. He's going to have his first Major League hit coming here shortly. So still a lot to end up happening there. But still, Cooper Pratt goes out there, and he is the only guy on the field there in that first inning when the whole team comes out, everyone's getting ready to go. The Brewers kind of pranked him a little bit. Bryce Terang kind of making a little bit of a last-minute decision, saying, "Okay, man, it's go time, and we're going to be right behind you." And they send Cooper Pratt out there, and they all just kind of wait back in the dugout, and gives him a chance to kind of take it all in a little bit, and just kind of also laugh with the guys, kind of try and keep it light. Keep the nerves down a little bit there because there's so much going through your head in a Major League debut. And obviously you love those moments for a big league debut. But, the Brewers kind of having a little bit of fun there with Cooper Pratt, sending him out there on his own to start that game. But, you're able to make it through. Now you've got one under your belt. The nerves are going to be probably a little bit lower here for the second game. So he should be feeling good going forward. And the most memorable thing is he talked about post-game. The most memorable thing was that the Brewers got the win, and that's the most important part to him, which is great. That's a team first kind of guy right there. That's what you want to have. Those are the kinds of players that you want to invest in. So the Brewers get the win, thanks to a little bit of offensive help from some other homegrown Brewers stars. Bryce Terang does end up going yard, and so does Garrett Mitchell. So love to see that. Those provided the 2 runs, and that was all the runs that they needed. A 2-1 victory for the Brewers, and Aaron Ashby gets the win in this one. Aaron Ashby, the pitcher of record. Garrett Mitchell goes yard with the go-ahead home run. And what do you know? Aaron Ashby becomes in line for his 10th win of the season, and he ends up getting it. We are at 70 games into the season. Aaron Ashby has won a full 1/7 of the games that the Brewers have played. And, the Brewers, they've won 44 games here. And Aaron Ashby has won 10 of them officially. We are on pace here. This is probably what... See, I probably should have done the math before this, so I'm just going to be doing mental math off the top of my head here, which is generally not a good idea, but that's probably 24, 25-ish win pace for the regular season. It's certainly more than a 20-win pace for the regular season that Aaron Ashby is on, because we're not quite halfway through the regular season, and he's already halfway to 20 wins. Maybe it's more like 22, 23. I don't know. Anyways, math is hard. I don't want to deal with it right now. But either way, I know that it's more than 20 that he's on pace for. Will he actually get there? We'll see. But he certainly seems to be in that position all the time here. And the Brewers able to vulture a win for him. I mean, Robert Gasser pitched really well in this game, which I was very excited to see for him. Being able to hold that Guardians lineup down. Now, granted, that Guardians lineup not quite as intimidating without Jose Ramirez in the lineup. Again, he's dealing with the hamate issue. So, still, I mean, to be able to make it through and have the success that Gasser did. Leaving there, you got a 1-1 game, and of course Aaron Ashby's got to be the pitcher of record when that tie gets broken in the Brewers' favor. So it's insane, honestly, how often it keeps on happening for Ashby. You almost think at some point that pace has to fall off. But with the way that the Brewers use him, with the leverage opportunities that the Brewers put him into those games consistently. Really would not be surprising for him to keep this kind of pace up as the season goes along. It's just kind of funny to watch how it goes along the way here. But Aaron Ashby getting the win. I was love to see maybe he could do it on this next game. And on Kalshi, you can trade every single game, which is the lovely part of Kalshi there. So being able to look at every single game, everything that's going on, I mean, Major League Baseball, World Cup, whatever it is that you want. But obviously, looking Major League Baseball here. Milwaukee Brewers, Cleveland Guardians coming up here again on Wednesday night. And the Brewers, their chances to win by more than 2 runs. So, obviously, some good pitching for Cleveland as well as for the Brewers here. But for the Brewers, to win by 2 runs or more. So they're going to have to win by more than they did on Tuesday night. That is currently trading at 37% for the Brewers to win by 1.5 runs, which means a $100 trade pays out $259 with a win. That sounds like a pretty good chunk of change right there. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, use this promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right. Now, also with Aaron Ashby having his wins pace that he is on, the Brewers are also on quite the pace of winning here as well. 44 wins in 70 games so far, and that is, you guessed it, a new franchise record. Just for the pace that they've been on through 70 games, the Brewers have never won at least 44 games before in their franchise history. Yes, that includes last year when the Brewers won their most games in franchise history with 97. Now, obviously, these first 70 games were where they kind of struggled initially last year, but even still, with all the success, all the really good years that the Brewers have had, all the winning baseball, they have never won this many games so quickly before. And also being able to do it with arguably a third of the lineup being a black hole. I mean, you look at what Luis Rengifo provided up until now when he was designated for assignment. Pretty much nothing. What has Joey Ortiz provided offensively? Pretty much nothing. David Hamilton has provided slightly less than nothing, but not by much. Sal Frelick has been largely nothing as well. So with that whole group, at the bottom of the order, you have not been getting a ton. You also missed Jackson Churio for a month. You missed Andrew Vaughn for a month. You missed Christian Yelich for a month. You missed a lot of big-time players there. You have not had Quinn Priester at all. You have missed Brandon Woodruff since the beginning or since the end of April. You have been missing a lot of guys here, a lot of talent. You've been missing a lot of production in that lineup, and still, this team is won the most games through 70 games through their first 70 in franchise history. It's incredible. All the adversity that they have faced, that they have dealt with, all the injuries that they have had, and they're able to still win this many games in this short amount of time. Now, granted, there's still so many more games to go. Still got more than half the season left, but the Brewers are on quite the really good pace here. Now that they've brought in one of their top young prospects, and that can lengthen this lineup and perhaps make it a little bit better, because look, it's honestly not going to be hard for Cooper Pratt to be better offensively than Luis Rengifo. Rengifo was providing basically nothing. So for him, just being able to provide that great defense, anything with the bat is going to end up being an improvement. So that is what we are going to be expecting there from him. And this team can just continue to get better from there. But also one of those players that I mentioned that they've been missing, Brandon Woodruff, since late April there with that shoulder issue, the dead arm that he had been dealing with. Well, Big Woo is perhaps getting closer to returning here. The Brewers sent him out on a rehab assignment to the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and he was able to make it, through his pitch totals that he was expected to and wanting to, which is obviously great to see, because we've seen, especially with like Quinn Priester, scheduled for this many innings, this many pitches, and they end up falling super short of that. But Brandon Woodruff scheduled to throw 80-some pitches, 5 innings with the Timber Rattlers. He threw 82 pitches, 5 1/3, so was able to make it out for a 6th up. Charged with 3 runs on 5 hits, but 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Woodruff. And I think it's just very important for him to get those innings in, and really, I think that's a much better sign for him. Now, obviously, he's been trying to make some changes, trying to make sure that he can stay healthy there. But I feel much better about Brandon Woodruff's ability to come back than I do about Quinn Priester's. At least without surgery. Quinn Priester also on Tuesday was visiting his thoracic outlet specialist that he had seen before. And they're going to kind of reevaluate and trying to figure out a new plan of care and what to do going forward. Is it going to be surgery? Is it going to be something else? We don't know, but that is what Priester was doing on Tuesday. And hopefully on Wednesday here, once we're able to talk to Pat Murphy and the Brewers, hopefully we'll have some answers that we'll be able to share. So be sure to stay tuned for that here on Brewers Daily, and also stay tuned to my Twitter page as well, at dgasper24, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter because I'm old school that way. But at dgasper24 on there. And then, of course, once we have that information, we'll be talking about it on here as well on Brewers Daily. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all of you watching and listening. And we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.